Srinivas Ramanujan Iyengar, popularly known as S. Ramanujan, was born in a little town named Erode on 22nd December 1887. Erode is located about 500 kilometers southwest of Madras in the state of Tamil Nadu. His father's name was Srinivas and mother's name Komalatma. It was a respectable higher caste Brahmin family. Now let me introduce you to his family background.
இன்னைக்கு உங்க நாள் எப்படி போச்சுங்க? ஷேர் வியாபாரம் பண்றது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. கவலைப்படாதீங்க, எல்லாம் சரியாயிடும். ஏன் அழுகுற?
எனக்கு மெட்ராஸ்ல படிக்க வேண்டாம், எனக்கு கும்பகோணத்துல தான் படிக்கணும்.
என்னால ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. அப்பா சாப்பிட்டு நம்ம இங்கதான் இருந்தோம். கவலைப்படாதீங்க, கடவுள் நான் உங்களுக்கு எல்லாத்தையும் சரி பண்ணிடுவார். நீ நான் கோயிலுக்கு போக நேரம் ஆயிடும், நான் கலந்துக்கிறேன்.
When his grandfather died, he was sent back to his maternal grandparents who were living in Madras. He did not like the school in Madras and he tried to avoid attending. His family enlisted a local constable to make sure he attended school. Within 6 months, Ramanujan was back in Kumbakonam at the Kangyan Primary School. He continued to astonish his teachers with his extraordinary talent in numbers in his primary school. Just before the age of 10 in November 1897, he passed his primary examination in the subjects like English, Tamil, geography and arithmetic. With his scores, he topped the district. He then went to Town High School where he encountered formal mathematics for the first time. By 11, he had exhausted the mathematics knowledge of 2 college students who were lodgers at his house. By 14, he was receiving merit certificates and academic awards which continued throughout his school career. He used to complete his mathematics exam in half the allotted time. Ramanujan became more and more interested in mathematics after he came across G.S. Carr's book titled A Synopsis of Elementary Result in Pure and Applied Mathematics, which was published in 1886. The book contained about 6,000 problems in algebra, trigonometry, calculus and analytical geometry, and it did not discuss any of the problems educatively. The book had a huge effect on Ramanujan and it actually changed his outlook and life forever. It was the impact of this book that he began to write his theorems without discussing their proofs educatively. Ramanujan looked for formulas as he saw in Carr's volume. He generated formulas which he felt to be true on the basis of intuition and by checking some special cases. He generally did not provide a rigorous proof of his results. When Ramanujan graduated from Town Higher Secondary School in 1904, he was awarded the K. Ranganath Rao Prize for Maths by school's headmaster Krishnaswamy Iyer. He received a scholarship to study at Government Arts College, Kumbakonam. But later on, he lost his scholarship as he failed in most of the subjects excluding math.
If he was a genius, why did he fail?
Maybe it was very clever. Or maybe financial independence. Or it definitely used to fail.
If that would be the case, he would have failed in maths too. He might have been studying that only.
That is equally close. Due to his love for maths, he moved on to concentrate on other subjects like physiology and ended up failing. But there was one more reason. He was a devout Hindu and he would not allow himself to dance cross, which was an integral part of his curriculum at that time.
So what happened next?
Ramanujan's mother was very worried to see his son's failures. So she decided to marry Ramanujan to bring him back to his normal life. She married Ramanujan to Janani, a 9-year-old girl who was the daughter of her friend.
After the marriage, Ramanujan developed a hydrocele testis, a difficult disease. His family did not have the money for operation, but in January 1910, a doctor volunteered to do the surgery for free. In late 1910, he was sick again, possibly as a result of the surgery earlier in the year. He feared for his health and even told his friend R. Radhakrishnan Iyer to hand over his notebooks to Professor Singravelu Mudaliar or to British Professor Edward B. Ross of the Madras Christian College. But he recovered, and after he recovered, he got back his notebooks from Iyer. With the increase in the sense of responsibilities, he started looking for a job. He stayed at friends' houses while he went door to door around the city of Madras looking for a clerical position. He met Deputy Collector V. Ramaswamy Iyer, who had recently founded the Indian Mathematical Society. Iyer sent Ramanujan with letter of introduction to his mathematical friends in Madras. Some of these friends looked at his work and gave him letter of introduction to R. Ramachandra Rao, the district collector of Nellore and the secretary of Indian Mathematical Society. After the interaction, Rao offered him a job of a clerk and allowed him to continue his mathematical research. Rao's financial aid took care of his daily needs. Ramanujan, with the help of V. Ramaswamy Iyer, had his work published in the Journal of Indian Mathematical Society. His friend Narayana Iyer, Ramachandra Rao and E.W. Middlemast tried to present his work to British mathematicians. Some didn't respond at all, but M.J.M. Hill of University College London gave thorough and serious professional advice on his work, but he didn't offer to take him as a student. Then, with the help of friends, he drafted letters to leading mathematicians at Cambridge University. Two of them, H.F. Baker and E.W. Hobson, returned it without comment. But destiny struck on 16 January 1913 when Ramanujan wrote to G.H. Hardy. Dear Sir, I'd like to introduce myself as a clerk in accounts department of the Port Trust office at Madras on a salary of ₹20 per annum. I am about 23 years of age and I have had no university education but have undergone the ordinary school. I have been employing the spare time at my disposal to work at mathematics. I have not toddled through the conventional regular course, but I am striking out a new path for myself. I have made a spatial investigation of divergent series in general, and the results I get are termed by the local mathematicians as startling. It was probably an early February morning when Hardy received the letter from Ramanujan. It was an 11-page letter, and Hardy could hardly believe it. But somehow, Hardy went through it. At first, it did not seem to appeal much. But he could not stop thinking about the theorems mentioned in the letter. He knew there is something interesting and something marvelous in the letter which is written, and he was forced to read them again. He was not able to reach a conclusion, and thus he decided to contact a friend, Dr. Littlewood.
Hello, Mr. Hardy. Why you have called me here?
Hello, please take a seat. I called you because I received one book and one letter from an unknown mathematician. And I was just going through this notebook, and it's sent by an amateur mathematician who claims that all the results in this notebook are proved by him. I doubt whether he is a genius or a fraud.
Why do you doubt whether he is a genius or a fraud?
Because in this, some of the proofs are already been proved and some of them are wrong. And some of the results on diverging series seems to be marvelous. But I just couldn't make out whether they are true. So if you can please help me out.
So in that case, let's work it out. I must tell you, Mr. Hardy, this person is not a fraud. He is a pure genius. This proof given over here is not given anywhere, and this is alright.
Okay, so please can you suggest me what should I do now?
As the person lives in India, it is so far from here, you should call him, you should talk to him and then conclude.
Okay, thanks for your suggestion. I will call him soon.
Dear Mr. Ramanujan, I was exceedingly interested by your letter and by the theorems which you state. It is essential that I should see proofs of some of your assertions.
Ramanujan was a devout Hindu, and his religion would not allow him to go abroad. But he did not want to miss the opportunity. So in this dilemma, he prayed to Manamagri for almost 3 days to give him way. One day, Ramanujan's mother had a dream. She saw her son surrounded by Westerners, and all of them were very interested in his work. She concluded that goddess has given an omen, and she agreed to send him to London. With the permission of his mother and the support of his friends, he started preparing for his journey abroad. Once his journey to England was arranged, a group of his admiring friends started preparing him for the trip. They thought that he needed an English style of dress. His friends prevailed upon him to get his haircut done in European style and abandoned his turban for a hat. All of this change of style made Ramanujan uncomfortable, and the discomfort continued during his sojourn in England, and this was unnecessary. Ramanujan reached Cambridge on April 18, 1914. It was a completely different world. Ramanujan spent nearly 5 years in Cambridge, collaborating with Hardy and Littlewood, and published a part of his findings there. While in England, Hardy tried his best to fill the gaps in Ramanujan's education without interrupting his spell of inspiration. There is an endless list of Ramanujan's achievement when he was in London. He was awarded the BA degree in March 1916 for his work on highly composite numbers, which was published as a paper in the Journal of London Mathematical Society. He was the second Indian to become a Fellow of the Royal Society in 1918, and he became one of the youngest Fellows in the entire history of the Royal Society. He was elected for his investigation in elliptical functions and the theory of numbers on 13th October 1918. He was the first Indian to be elected a Fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge. While Ramanujan achieved a lot in London, his health subsequently deteriorated.
Or maybe he was bounded to work in a way that was not his usual way. Or was he going through some kind of shock due to cultural integration?
Might be some
because of a cheating habit.
Wow, what a logic.
No, it's correct. Ramanujan was artist and he could not allow anyone else to touch his own food as he did not trust the person. So many times during his maths practice, he did not get enough time to cook his own food and had to sleep in his time. Another reason was that there was shortage of vegetables in London, which led to Ramanujan's starvation.
So did he find any alternative for this?
Let's have a look.
Yes, I wanted to discuss about Ramanujan. Ramanujan, an Indian calculator. Yes, his health is getting worse day by day. I think we should send him abroad. No, we can't, because nowadays World War is going on. Then we should send him back to India. Yes, I think you're right. And there, his wife can also take care of him nicely. Yeah.
Ramanujan needed the care and comfort of his family in Madras. He returned to India in 1919, where his wife took a good care of him. But his sickness was not curable and he died in 1920 at the age of 32. The story ends here, but not the questions. The story poses a lot of questions which are unanswered as to why the genius had to die at the age of 32. Such a mathematical genius in our country and we could not take care of him. What might be the possible reasons?